Hello, my name is Kabir Nath, and I'm the President and CEO of Otsuka's North American pharmaceutical businesses. It's my very great pleasure to introduce our guest speakers for today's conversation, Dr. Alpha Stewart and Dr. Valerie Purdy-Greenaway. We're here to talk about the impact of systemic racism on the mental and physical health and the well-being of the Black community. We see a very, very small percentage of Black executives, Black managers, and so on. Please give us some insights into that and the Black ceiling, as it's been called.
Yeah, we really need to start thinking of different colors and faces when we think about systemic racism, because yes, when you look at Black and brown executives, you see this, you do see this ceiling. Some are starting to break through, but not as many as we like. You also see systemic racism when you look at Asian and Southeast Asian American communities, oftentimes making it to the top when it's through very sort of technical types of professions, but not necessarily being perceived in other kinds of leadership professions. So there's a lot of ways in which it can sort of play itself out. One of them is around promotions. How do you move through a company all the way to the top? You then start to think about what are the kinds of experiences that you need to have to move from one stage of a company to the next. And at each stage, one of the things that I found is that it's less about the sort of big, large aspects of systemic racism. It's kind of the small things. You are not going to get to an executive level if you don't have someone sponsoring you, if you don't have someone whispering in your ear, if you don't have someone kind of telling you, go this way, not that way, you want this experience, you don't want that experience. There's a whole hidden network. But the fact of the matter is that some groups have access to that network and others don't. There's lots of research out there around failing and how important that is as a learning challenge. Well, we know all the way from elementary school all the way up to the corporate ranks that people of color, when we fail, it's seen as you are not capable of doing the job. It's not seen as a growth assignment. People give it a different attribution, they give it a different label, and they give it a different category. And when that happens at each level, it becomes systemic. So that's sort of an example of systemic racism. But I think the promotion piece is probably the most important, as well as the sponsorship piece. So the idea that, oh, individuals should have a sponsor, we should have a sponsorship program. Well, that's always been in place. And any individual who's gotten to the top has had a sponsor. It just was just called your friend, or it was just called, the person who kind of looks out for you. And so there are these sort of implicit structures that are more likely to contribute to some individual success than not. And the inequity piece is when one group doesn't have access to it, one group doesn't know it, or one group has to have it happen through formal processes as opposed to informal processes. And then it kind of aggregates all the way up. And again, it always feels and looks like a choice. And so that's why I think these conversations never get tired, because trying to illuminate that these are not choices, these are systems that are in place that are just set up for one group more than another.
And people don't even recognize that they are living in the beneficiaries of or perpetuating those things until you actually put it out to them. And
Yes.
then, and that's hence the importance of the dialogue.